Welcome to the Watercolor Techniques demo. To get started, you'll need a watercolor worksheet, or you could use a piece of watercolor paper, watercolor brushes of various sizes, watercolor paint, a cup of water, some watercolor pencils, some fine liner pens, paper towels nearby, and a paint palette for mixing colors. Start by activating your watercolor. The more water you add, the lighter the color will become. Let's get started with wet on dry. Start with a color swatch and let it dry. You can blow dry it or just give it some time. While that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start with wet on wet. What I'm going to do is add a color swatch and then quickly add more colors to that swatch. The paint should bleed. The beauty of watercolor is that it has spontaneous color blends, happy accidents, and unexpected results. Feel free to play with the watercolor by adding more water or moving the paint around with your paintbrush. Next is flat wash. We're going to start by adding a wash of water. Then we will add paint on top. There should be a smooth transition as we apply the paint. Next is the graded wash, which is a gradation from dark to light of one color. To start, you're going to add some water. And then you're going to apply color to the left side and pull towards the right side. Add more paint if you need. Next is the color blend wash. Add a wash of water. Start by adding color to one end and pulling the color to the right. Then we're going to add color to the other end. Allow the colors to bleed into each other. Now that the paint is dry, I'm going to go back to wet on dry. I'm going to choose a new color and draw on top. Notice how I can get some details, fine lines, and that the paint does not bleed. Dry blend of two colors. Add one color to the left and add another color to the right. Allow the colors to bleed in together. Next is dry brush. Using a dry brush, apply paint onto a dry area. Hard edge. You can draw with paint on a dry surface. With no water down, you can get nice clean lines. Once the paint is dry, you can overlap it with more lines. Soft edge. Add some watercolor to the surface, then add some water to soften the edges. Layering and glazing. First, start by applying a light wash of watercolor onto the desired surface. Let that layer dry and we'll come back to it. Colored pencil. I am demonstrating with watercolor pencils here. If you do not have any, try this with regular color pencils. Try to draw with the color pencil and then add a layer of water on top. Now let's try to add a layer of water first and then the color pencil on top, and let's see what happens. Let's try making some texture with mark making. Notice how different approaches give us different results. Fine liner. I am first going to experiment with creating a wash of different colors. Once you get it to where you want it, let that dry. Now that our layering and glazing section is dry, let's go ahead and add another layer. This time I'm only going to apply color to the outside rings. And now we let that dry. Once that layer is dry, let's go ahead and add one more layer to the outside ring. With layering color, we were able to get 3 different values of blue. Now that our color wash is dry, let's apply the fine liner. The beauty of watercolor is that you can layer other materials on top, like color pencil and pen. It takes practice to create nice, clean lines. Try tracing some of the patterns that the watercolor left behind. Get creative and add some of your own designs to it as well. Be sure to check out our video on watercolor experiments. The link is in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.